I guess we'll get started. Brad can start talking about food to make me hungry. Yeah, the stepping stone squeeze board seems easy because you have no choice. It's true, but nonetheless, I mean, you might be able to stumble your way into it, and I think that's okay, and that's probably like a worthwhile thing to learn. But I still think that like it might be challenging if you haven't seen the idea before. So yeah, anyway, that's my take on it. What is this? I am in 3 no trump. No bidding by the opponents. We have the Queen of Hearts lead, which is a little bit sad, otherwise this wouldn't have been much of a problem. So how many tricks do we have? We have 3 diamonds, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, and a spade, which is math 8. This is not a good idea. Oh no. I can't even count to 8. Okay, this is all fine. So, okay. I'm thinking here. We have 2 options for a 9th trick, and we have to choose immediately. I mean, it would be nice if we could lead a spade to the jack, and then have them like play back a diamond or something, and then we play the ace of spades, and maybe an honor doubleton falls, and then we score like 11 tricks or something. But if I play a spade and it loses, they're just going to continue hearts, and I won't be able to test the club suit to see if it's 3-3. You guys can have a discussion about food. I don't know what time it is over there for you all, if it's like lunchtime or something. But you can certainly talk about what you're having for lunch. I'm not hungry yet. I had lunch just before I started the stream a few hours ago, and we're getting there, but it's, I think I can make it through at least half of those C deals. So the alternative to this plan is to just duck a club immediately. That would be playing for 3-3 clubs. Just claim 5 diamond tricks. You know, I accidentally did this once, and it didn't go well. I had no entries back to my hand, and I just faced my hand saying that like I was claiming the rest. And the opponents found a way to have me cash out in such an order that I went down like 4 or something. It was brutal. And it was even worse than that, because like I had a legitimate way to make the contract from where I ended up if I realized that my hand was stranded. But I just didn't go for it. It was really bad. Oh my. That's bringing back horrible memories. I was playing with Leo Lasota at the time in like a regional event or something like that. Ended up down 5 vulnerable instead of down 1 last night. That's probably okay. I'm sure you were overboard in slam anyway. Weren't going to get a whole bunch of match points for down 1. Well, now that I've done a bunch of them, I've been being silly for a while, which is good. It's given me a little bit of a break, but let's try and figure out percentage-wise which is better. 3-3 club split is 36%. So king, queen of spades on side is like 25%. Approximately, which we would pick up by leading a spade towards the jack. We will also pick up 1/3, no, not 1/3, hold on. How many of the 4-2 splits, with East having 4 cards, or with East having 2 cards? We would pick up honor doubleton, and there are 6 choose 2 combinations, which is 15. There are, how many ways does this work? So king doubleton or queen doubleton, 2 honors, 4 small cards is 8 possibilities, and we're going to discount the king queen doubleton because we've already counted that in our chance. So 8 out of 15 of the one specific 4-2 break, which is 24%, so it's like an extra 12% on top of 25, which is like 37. Well, this is a stupid problem. I hate it. It looks like it's better to play a spade to the jack by approximately 1%. That is not useful. I don't know. I'm gonna do it. I bet this is wrong. I just... Okay. It was not wrong. Spoiler. I don't know. Once again, this seems like a dumb hand. Sure, we pick up king, queen, doubleton of spades with West also. Great. No, I did get the beer. But remember, this is the Greg Humphreys criterion, or GHC, as we abbreviate it, on this side of the pond at least, where because we won the last trick in this format with the 7 of diamonds, we do score a beer. So it was important not to cash the ace king of clubs. Otherwise, we would not have been able to win the 7 of diamonds on the last trick. I want to see what they say about this, but really if their explanation is like this is higher percentage, then I'm going to have words with whoever wrote this software. Queen of Hearts lead. There are 8 top tricks. Yep. Don't worry, I also counted to 8. It took me a couple of tries. All the 7s are some sort of alcohol. No, I mean, that's just been kind of my little addition. That 7 of spades is like a dark beer, like I don't know, what's everyone's favorite dark beer, like a lager? Lager sounds good for the 7 of spades. Guinness, yeah, we could do Guinness for the 7 of spades. Okay, good, that's multiple Guinnesses. A porter, okay. Porter is also good. Yes, stout. Okay, you know what? I think the 7 of spades is like a little darker than the 7 of clubs, so I'm going to go with stout. Thank you. Am I feeling thirsty now? Okay, but before I get too sidetracked, we do need to come up with alcohols for the 7 of hearts and 7 of clubs, though, and I will try and be on the lookout for taking the last trick with those cards. Rosé for the 7 of hearts. I could see that. And maybe like a dark rum for the 7 of clubs. We probably know more about alcohol than about bridge. No. It's a requirement to be a bridge player, is to learn about all different types of alcohol. Because how else can you go get drinks at the bar after every round? South can only afford to give up the lead once, as the defense will be able to establish and run hearts. South might think about ducking a club. This will succeed about 36% of the time. Here we go. South can do better by playing a spade to the jack at trick 2. So we'll immediately succeed when East began with both the king and queen of spades, 24%. South will also succeed on several other distributions if East holds a doubleton. Yep. The odds of East holding a doubleton honor are about 13%. Is that what I got? Well, anyway, probably. When you factor in the other spade holdings, like king, queen, doubleton offside, becomes better by about 6%? No. I think it's a lot closer than that. I'm pretty sure the math I did, and the math they did, in fact, makes it very clear that it's much, much closer. There is a third line of play that combines the chances in both spades and clubs. South can achieve almost the same of odds as playing a spade to the jack by playing a spade to the ace at trick 2. What? If an honor drops, South develops his ninth trick. If both defenders fall small, South switches to clubs. Is that true? I actually believe that, though. Because a singleton spade honor is like more or less impossible, and now they're telling us that it's a 1/4% difference between the two lines of play. Well, whatever. Anyway, dumb hand. We got it right. Let's move on. 3 no trump. I've seen this one before. We did this one on stream. Oh no, we're getting into the ones that Kurt and I have already done. Ooh. Okay, this will be useful because I can get through these quickly and maybe we can actually finish up the entire C set. Okay. Cool. So this one I've seen before, but just to kind of talk through the solution a little bit. I mean, this is a little bit of a complicated one to talk to. I feel like we did a pretty good job the other time on stream. I wonder if I should just skip these. Nah, for completeness, we'll play through them. But I'll try and be a little quick. So the idea here is like, if the spade finesse wins, then we're just good. We just like play club to the queen, knock out the king of clubs, and take however many tricks we take. The only issue that can happen is if we duck the opening spade lead and East has the king, they can win and switch to hearts, and I mean, maybe the king of clubs is offside. You know, a variety of things could go wrong. I mean, in general, if East has the king of spades and king of clubs, we're probably going down. We unfortunately can't afford to just hop up with the ace of spades and like lead the queen of clubs out of our hand. We are only going to have 8 tricks in that case. 1 spade, 6 clubs, and the ace of hearts. So the opponents could then just switch to hearts, set up their heart tricks, and eventually after we run the clubs, they're going to be able to take 5 tricks. So it might look like, okay, our best chance is to take the spade finesse. If not, we'll win the ace of hearts and take a club hook. But we can do a little bit better to protect against West having king third of clubs. And to do that, we can put in the queen of spades at trick 1. This is going to give us 2 entries to the south hand to take club finesses if the king of spades is offside. Now, if the king of spades was onside, having won the queen of spades and not the ace at trick 1, we could then proceed with our plan by just knocking out the king of clubs, take 6 clubs, 2 spades, and the ace of hearts. So that is how you solve this one. And look at that, clubs were 3-0, so we did need this extra hand entry to take the club hooks. Oh my god, Sorry, we're good. No one panic. We've managed to score an alcohol with the 7 of clubs on the last trick. What alcohol did we decide was the 7 of clubs? We said rosé. Campari for the 7 of hearts. Okay, rosé for the, I said dark rum, like a Captain Morgan shot, something like that, for the 7 of clubs. This, okay, preemptive warning. This might not be a good drinking game to play if you have out like 4 bottles of like the different liquors, and every time I make a contract with one of the 7s, you take a drink. You might want to put yourself in a safe place before you start this. Gris is gray wine. Du Gris. I'm not familiar with Du Gris. Gris de Toul? Boulawan Gris? I don't know some of these things. I mean, I used to be very much into wine when I was, when I played bridge. But no more. It's been a while. Okay, so we also did this one. This is mostly just giving yourself a little bit of an extra chance if West has the singleton King of Diamonds. That's going to be the idea. We're going to just click the translate to English on this page. Thank you, though. It is, oh my god, that is a super cheap wine. Or whatever it is. It's a rosé, I guess. I see. It does look a little bit like, let's see, can I do this? Yeah, it does look a little bit like a heart. Kind of. Maybe a little bit of an off-shaded heart, but it's like orangish. Yeah. I could see it. Oh, no 7s on this one. Alcohol-free hand. Queen of Hearts lead. Okay, so idea on this one basically is we want to find out about the heart split. If hearts are, because we have 8 top tricks, ace, king, queen, jack of spades, 4 tricks outside of the spade suit. Our most obvious plan of taking an extra trick is the diamond finesse. But that will be risky if West has 5 hearts. But if hearts are 4-4, we don't really need to worry. So we can discard clubs from the dummy. Make sure to see what the division is in the heart suit. And once we win the 4th round, we now see West has 5 hearts. It's dangerous to take a heart finesse into West's hand, so we can just go ace of diamonds, singleton king falls, and we make our contract. You can't find any more Campari in your French supermarket. Campari is truly red. It's been so long since I drank anything that I just don't remember some of these alcohols. But I don't believe Campari is something that I've ever heard of, at least not until today. Right. So here's one that I remember Kurt got the right answer on this. Beer card potential detected, that 7 of spades. You're right, we could have a dark stout if we are able to manage to take the last trick with that, but that's not going to end up happening, unfortunately. So this hand is basically all going to be about, well, if hearts break, we don't need to worry about anything else. If hearts don't split, we're going to need to deal with our spade loser, and that means utilizing the 3 entries we have to dummy, the queen, jack of clubs, and the ace of hearts, to take roughing finesses in the diamond suit. I think originally I had mentioned that this looks a little bit similar to the lines of play that we've seen previously, where we might be able to score the first 12 tricks, even if West or East has 4 diamonds, by roughing 3 rounds of diamonds in our hand, taking 4 rounds of clubs, the ace king of spades, and 3 top hearts. But it's higher percentage to take the double ruffing, finesse, and diamonds. At least that's the idea. So we'll test the heart suit to see if it splits well or not. It does not, but now we can lead the queen of diamonds, pull trump, cross in clubs, take a ruffing hook and diamonds, and now, just to be completely safe, we can exit the 4th trump to make sure that West can't do anything bad to us if they happen to have a singleton club. So the 10 of diamonds cashes, and we can return back to our hand with the ace king of clubs. 7 of spades was played at the last trick, but did not take the trick, unfortunately. Okay, 3 no trump. I vaguely remember this one as well. Where after the 3 spade preempt from East, we know spades are 7-0. And with only 6 tricks in our hand, we're going to have an awfully difficult time scoring tricks unless we can get over to dummy to take the long clubs. Well, the only way to get over to dummy is with that queen of spades, and we can really only do that if we're able to strip East of the red suits and then duck a spade out of our hand to let East in. So, queen of hearts opening lead, we can definitely afford to duck this trick, but I remember what happens on the next trick, so we want to be a little bit careful. Because West switches to diamonds and East plays the queen. And it's actually like really funny that while we could afford to duck the queen of hearts, we can't allow East to be on lead because East can actually break up our ability to duck a spade trick to them by like leading spades himself. If we were to duck this trick, East would immediately lead like a low spade. That would blow a trick in the spade suit. We would be able to win the queen and dummy, but then with the clubs not being unblocked, we wouldn't be able to get back over there. So we gotta win the ace of diamonds, unblock the ace king of clubs. It's good news for us that East followed with 2 clubs because that means that it's very possible now East has the required shape for us to make this contract, which is 7-3-1-2. We're gonna need East to be completely out of diamonds when we duck a spade. Uh-oh. Have I miscounted something? Now I'm a little worried I've done something wrong, but we duck a spade and East plays back a diamond. What did I do wrong? Oh no. Now I'm losing it. That's what I get for ditching my alcohol card from dummy. Did I ditch the alcohol? Oh my god, you're so right. I forgot that I shouldn't have unblocked this. I should have unblocked in the club suit, preserving that 7. That was a big blunder. My fault. That really is what I get. So... You know, in real life, ducking the first round of hearts is probably not very costly because West will just continue a second heart. Like, no one's really switching to diamonds here when they have a broken diamond holding where East is going to be able to overtake. But I guess the point is that if we win the ace of hearts and unblock clubs, we can duck a diamond, and that shape for East is a little bit more likely than the 7-3-1-2 shape. So we can win the ace of hearts, play ace king of clubs, duck a diamond, win the return, and then go king of hearts, ace of diamonds, low spade. I'm not like convinced that this is correct. But anyway. It'll be hard to win the return, then cash both the King of Hearts and Ace of Diamonds. Oh, I mean, East is going to return the King of Spades, of course. Then I'm going to cash the King of Hearts and Ace of Diamonds. Good point. Duck a diamond is not correct. He'll return a spade. Yeah, but we're unblocking the clubs first. I mean, again, this is one of these hands where PJF would give me an A-, I give you an A. If you took the line of play I did originally. We've hit on the right idea, and we just need to decide which layout of the East-West cards is most likely. Now this is a B-. This is, in fact, now a B-. Yeah, we've messed up once again. Isn't ducking that diamond safe? I'm thinking about beer now too much. You're totally right. So we take 2 clubs, and we can duck a diamond, and now East plays another diamond, and we can duck again. So now we can actually kind of protect ourselves against East having 3 cards in the diamond suit. I mean, it's super weird, right? Because if East had 3 diamonds, they could just play back a heart right now. Like, what am I missing? Oh no, they can't. They had a singleton heart. I see. Okay, I'm starting to understand. I still don't like this hand. I think this is dumb. Just like trying to guard against different possible distributions of East's hand. But yeah, we can afford to duck the diamond, and now we can actually claim. Because East has at most 1 remaining red card. There it is. So we don't even need to cash the Ace of Diamonds at this point, but we can duck a spade. Beer card is at the wrong place. Not this time, not with our new rules. Check this out. Bam. Easy. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about the hand. I think their line of play was probably correct, but it feels kind of weird. Anyway, on to the next one. And I know I've done all of these before, so maybe that's a little bit of my disdain for the problems. Jack of Spades opening lead. This is probably looking pretty familiar, like some of the these other hands where our objective is just to ruff a spade at trick 2 to prevent some sort of bad split in the trump suit. I mean, we have a potential heart loser and a club loser. That's the only thing that we need to worry about. And the normal play in hearts is just cash the ace-king, but it's gonna turn out that the opponent's hearts are actually 4-0 offside, and so that makes this problem a lot easier to some extent, because now we know we need very specific things to happen for us to make the contract from here. We're gonna need to use both of our diamond entries to ruff spades, we're gonna need to be able to cash the ace-king of clubs, and we're going to need to come down to a 3-card end position where we're down to king, jack, doubleton of hearts, and a club, small doubleton heart, and a club and dummy, so that when we lead a club, West will have to ruff East's natural club trick, and then West will be end played to leading hearts into our king, jack at the end. And all of these things are completely necessary for us to make the contract. So the order in which we do stuff doesn't really matter here. We just have to cash all of these tricks, and then, play the hand in this fashion, exit a club here, West ruffs and is now unplayed. So rather straightforward once you get the 4-0 trump split, but this just shows that it's often good, even if you don't know why, to just like ruff a small card in your hand at trick 2 once they lead the suit. West did well not to double, you're right. You're right. But then maybe they would have held 2 diamonds and 3 clubs, and we would have gone down. This hand, do I remember this one? Let's see. I do remember this one. So we've opened a heart, West made a takeout double, partner redoubled, East jumped to 4 spades, and we get to 5 hearts. Well, no matter what happens, we're going to lose a club. Even if somehow we are able to take all 6 diamond tricks and dummy and discard 4 clubs from our hand, we still have to lose the king of clubs. If trumps are 4-1, we're going to have a lot of issues. It's very likely that West, given the takeout double, has the ace of clubs. So we're not really going to have a great time roughing out the club suit in partner's hand, like lead a club, duck it, duck a second round of clubs, rough a club low. I mean, clubs could be 4-2, East can over rough or something. We're going to get into a lot of trouble if that's our plan. Which means that we probably need to find a way to set up the diamond suit to make our contract. Well, if hearts are 3-2, we should be able to use the king of hearts as an entry to get back to the diamonds. The only issue is that before pulling a 3rd round of trumps, we're going to need to unblock diamonds from our hand. And for that reason, it's going to be better to duck the opening lead. We can then use the ace of spades to ditch a diamond, and therefore we'll be protected against a 4-1 diamond split, which is also kind of somewhat likely given the takeout double from West, that West could have 4 diamonds here. Unfortunately, it's also pretty likely that hearts are 4-1, but I think I've already kind of mentioned that if hearts are 4-1, we're already kind of screwed. So this seems like a more likely layout to protect against. So we duck the opening lead, they continue spades, we pitch a diamond. Now we can pull a couple of rounds of trumps. Trumps split, now we just need them to follow to the ace of diamonds, which they do. We can cross to dummy. And not score a beer? Was there anything I could have done better? Oh man. I can only take 10 tricks ending in dummy. That's unfortunate. They should have this hand kind of like set up the same way, but where it's important to score a beer. Oh well. On to number 8, which we've already done. I think we stopped about midway through the C hands. We might have stopped around like 20 or something. So we got to 3 no trump. We need beer master hands. That's a good call. Someone needs to create those, where your objective is not just to make the contract, but you have to score a beer as well. One of the 4 different beers, or 4 different alcohols, of course. Jack of spades lead. So on this hand, we have 8 top tricks. Hearts, 3 hearts, 3 spades, and 2 clubs. If hearts are 4-2, we can guarantee the contract by kind of like making sure that we preserve our entries a little bit. We will end up going down if diamonds are 4-1, because we'll end up losing a heart and 4 diamonds. And unfortunately, we can't like test to see if hearts are 3-3 before attempting this line of play. If we were to play ace of hearts, king, queen of hearts, and find out they don't split, we get stranded from our spade winners in our hand. But we can just duck the first round of hearts, and this happens to be the solution. I mean, a 4-1 diamond split is somewhat unlikely. Also, no guarantee that the opponents would find a diamond switch. if we took this line of play. I think they're very likely to just continue spades or maybe even switch to a club through the ace-king, something like this. But now when both opponents follow to the ace of hearts, this is the entry to the spades that we have stranded. And now we can use the king of clubs entry to get back to the hearts in dummy for 9 tricks. So this was just a test of like, can we, make on a reasonable layout of the opponent's cards while maintaining entries to our hands. It's often right to just duck a trick pretty quickly in some of these spots to preserve communication, preparing for a bad split. Like, it's frequently right with like king, queen, fifth, upset ace, third to duck the first round to preserve communication. You're on lead to 3-0 with ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of diamonds. What do you lead after the opponent's duck a heart to you hit trick 2? I would probably continue the suit I led at trick 1. That tends to be the right thing to do in 3-0 trump. Did your partner encourage? I think that might be relevant. Otherwise, you might want to switch suits. I don't know to what. It could be right to switch to diamonds or clubs, but one of those. Clever. Yeah, try and hit partner suit. I think we've already tried to hit partner suit. That appears to be what Brad was going for. All right, we're in 6 clubs. And I do remember this hand as well. This is kind of a cool hand. This wasn't something I had really seen previously, or maybe I had and I just hadn't really thought about it. But the idea here is we're in 6 clubs. We're going to find out the clubs split badly. Otherwise, we would just have 12 top tricks and could take a heart finesse or a spade finesse for an extra trick. But now that West has turned up with a natural club trick, we're going to need one of the major suit finesses to work. Well, how do we find out which major suit finesse we should play for? We can actually make against both the king of spades being in West's hand and the king of hearts being in East's hand if we play the hand properly. And to do that, I guess we want to... It doesn't really matter the order in which we do things, but we'll pull a second trump. We want to cash the ace of spades and now strip West's diamonds. And in doing this, now that West is completely out of diamonds, when we play a club, West gets thrown in. They don't have diamonds to lead, they don't have clubs to lead, so they have to lead either hearts or spades. They can lead a spade, we'll try the queen. That didn't work, but now we can cross back to dummy and take our heart finesse to make all of our tricks. And I was not paying attention. Did I have an opportunity to beer here? I did not. It wasn't possible to take the last trick with the 7 of clubs, unfortunately. Only 7 we had. 6 no trump. East opens 2 spades. Okay, yeah, this was kind of a cool hand as well. I remember Kurt walking through this one, so this is going to be your very, very generic double squeeze introduction hand. I know we've seen a couple of them so far, and I feel like this one is a lot cleaner because this is going to present ourselves with like the exact situation that a double squeeze looks like from like the bare bones scenario. So we're in 6 no trump, we have 6 diamond tricks, 2 hearts, 1 club, and we're gonna guess 2 spades because East has preempted 2 spades. That brings us up to 11. Normally in these squeeze scenarios, we want to duck a trick to rectify the count, which we're gonna do at trick 1. We also happen to find out that clubs are 5-0 on this trick. So that's gonna make our life a little bit easier as we play the rest of the hand out. West is going to switch to hearts, and now we kind of need to be aware of the concept of having entries to the correct hand. So I actually think Kurt did a really great job talking through this one as he was playing it. We'll think a little bit about trying to come down to some end position, which is basically what we've already been doing. So East, who should have the king of spades, has 6 spades, and therefore actually the 2 of spades or 3 of spades or whatever can be a threat card in North's hand. So we'll want to keep that card around. The 8 of clubs or 7 of clubs or whatever is going to be a threat card in North's hand against West. So we'll want to keep that around. And eventually we're going to need to get over to Dummy's hand after we run the diamond suit. So, but we're also going to want to preserve the ace of hearts in our hand to keep heart length. What's the end position we want to reach? Well, we effectively are going to want to come down to a 4-card end position. All right, we're going to have ace doubleton of hearts in our hand after we win the king of hearts at this trick. We're going to have the ace of diamonds in our hand and a club. We'll have already cashed a couple of spades. Dummy is going to have a spade, a heart, and the ace doubleton of clubs. We're going to lead our last diamond, and the first thing that happens is West, who's holding on to queen doubleton of clubs or whatever at that point, cannot afford to discard a club. So they're going to have to pitch a heart, and that means that they're down to just 1 heart in their hand. Remember, this would be trick 10, so West originally only had 2 hearts in that situation we're thinking about. The 7 of clubs that we've had will have done its job, and we can bid farewell to the possibility of scoring a beer on this hand. But now when we play a club over to North's hand, this is going to be 3 cards to go, and North is going to have the ace of clubs, a heart, and a spade. East, also sitting on a spade, and 2 hearts at that point, will not be able to discard their spade, so they also have to discard down to a singleton heart. And now we just play a heart to the ace. Our last heart is going to be a winner because both opponents have been forced to keep a card in the black suit, which they ultimately didn't need. So this is a non-simultaneous double squeeze. I don't know if that makes it a little more difficult than some of the other double squeezes we've seen, but that's basically what's going to happen here. So we win the king of hearts, we will take a spade finesse, we will cash the ace of spades, now we run the diamond suit, and we want to kind of make sure we keep count of what's going on in the spade and club suits to know if an opponent has discarded too many times from that suit. So there's a spade discard, 2 club discards, and 2 spade discards. We play a diamond, West throws a heart. We can now throw the 7 of clubs. East pitches a 3rd spade, and now when we play a club to the ace, East holds on to their last spade, pitching a heart, so we get to take the last trick with the 2 of hearts here. Kind of a cool double squeeze. Hopefully we explained that well. I mean, Kurt also did a good job when he was thinking through it his first time seeing the hand. But cute concept. Board at 11, we've seen this one as well. I'm just trying to, oh yeah, this is the really dumb one. I remember we had a long debate about whether or not this was useful or practical in any way, and I think the conclusion we came to is no, that this is kind of a silly concept. I mean, it's maybe worthwhile, but probably not very practical. So we're in 6 spades, we have no losers. Our only possible losers are 2 small diamonds. Well, with a bunch of high trumps in dummy, it kind of looks like we can just play ace king of diamonds and start roughing diamonds in North's hand and take all 13 tricks. But we can be a little careful and guard against some potential 4-1 diamond splits. So I'm going to win the king of spades in dummy and lead a diamond up to the ace. But now what we want to be very careful about doing is we don't want to play the king of diamonds. If East started with a singleton diamond and roughs our king of diamonds and then plays a 3rd trump, or so if they started with a singleton diamond and 3 spades, we're going to go down. We can then only rough 1 diamond loser in the north hand. We've already lost a trick. and we don't make the contract. So I think it is worthwhile to cross to the heart ace to lead a diamond up. And I also think it's somewhat impractical to now not play the king of diamonds, but that is the solution they're looking for, right? Similarly to East not being able to ruff this trick, if we play the king of diamonds and West ruffs, we're going to go down. Well, that would mean West forgot to lead a singleton diamond against a small slam with 3 trumps, which feels like a big mistake. But the real solution is that we can guarantee the contract by just playing low on this trick. Now even if a spade comes back, we would have been able to win in hand, ruff a diamond, and then pull all of the trumps, making the rest of the tricks. So a bit of a silly hand. I wouldn't fault anyone for just like doing what we did to protect against 6-1 diamonds in East's hand, but then, you know, going down if West happened to have a singleton diamond. That feels okay. What if you play ace of diamonds, small diamond at trick 2? So am I guarding against diamonds being 7-0 by winning the king of spades and playing a diamond to the ace? I think so, right? Like diamond ace and low diamond also works against 6-1, but I'm protecting against East having a diamond void by winning the king of spades at trick 1 to lead diamonds up. If East ruffs, we play low, and then we're going to need to be able to pull trumps in 2 rounds, which we will be able to, right? Both opponents followed to the first round of spades. So, yeah, it's some small extra chance. Again, not very important. And regardless, diamond ace and low diamond also not very important. So I think that was just a bit of a silly hand. It's one of those eccentric players of yesteryear who had a rule: you lead a trump when you want to get ruffs. Ooh, I've heard this before. And there is some like truth behind it, right? Like there's definitely some truth behind this concept of like leading a trump if you want to get ruffs, because declare sometimes will then try and like start roughing things in dummy, realizing that if he doesn't, he might not get the chance, and so then you'll be able to ruff that suit. But sometimes partner just has the ace, and if you don't get your ruff immediately, it goes away. Like everything goes away. Partner's ace goes away, your ruff goes away. Well, so West overcalled a spade here. Started with ace king of spades and a spade ruff. And this was a hand. Okay, I actually want to look at the solution after this because I want to see if. I feel like we might have looked at the solution on stream, but it's been a while. John Lowenthal. That sounds potentially right. I do remember that name. Lowenthal. He had some, I don't know if I want to call them backwards ideas, but he had some crazy ideas about the game. Okay. So what they want us to believe on this hand is that West would not overcall with just ace king fifth of spades, and that West must have the king of clubs. Because what we could do, it looks like this might be a squeeze type hand, right? Diamonds could be 3-3, but if not, maybe we can squeeze an opponent who has the king of clubs and diamond length. So realistically, I think it's very sensible to just play the ace of diamonds, pull trumps, unblock the ace of clubs as a Vienna coup, run all of our red suit cards, and hope that we take the rest of the tricks. That would work if, you know, for example, East had Jack 10 fourth of diamonds and the club king, which I think is very plausible given the one spade overcall. You don't really need much more than ace king fifth to overcall at the one level, especially in a major suit. But they want us to believe that West needs a little bit more than that and wouldn't make this overcall without at least the club king in that case, it's less likely that West is going to be able to hold diamond length as well as the king of clubs, so we should instead try and transfer the guard into East's hand by leading the queen of clubs early. West will cover, we win the ace, and we use the 10 of clubs as our threat card. So I'll play it out and, get that solution, but I do want to kind of read through their thought process on this, because I'm not convinced that this is a good line of play. Oh my god. The East pitched the jack of clubs. There we go. Okay, we're good. Request undo granted. I do want to look at this though, because this is lower percentage, right? We weren't able to test the diamond suit for a 3-3 split before we did this. And so like if diamonds are 3-3 and the king of clubs is offside, wouldn't we feel very silly going down? So West leads the king of spades, cashes 2 top spades and gives partner a ruff. East returns a diamond, South should draw the remaining trump. Great. Concentrate on coping with his club loser. Wow, there's some major copium going on, and this was even before its time. I think this was created before the days of Twitch and Franker Face Z and all of the cool emotes. But yikes. we're now coping. I feel like I'm in therapy or something. So if diamonds are 3-3, there's no problem, as North's long diamond will take care of South's club loser. However, it is likely that East has a diamond guard. I mean, whatever, like it's possible. In this case, a squeeze will be South's only chance. West's overcall marks him with the king of clubs. Here we go. Welcome back to the 50s, everyone, when you couldn't bid unless you had at least 4 controls. Okay. Leaving the minor suit guards divided. However, if East has the jack of clubs, South can still succeed. We lead the queen of clubs, covered by the king. We transfer the threat in bold. I actually really wish they had typed that in all caps as well for further emphasis. Have they been highlighting? I don't think we've actually looked at some of the other things where they define terms. By forcing West to cover, the sole guard of the club suit has been transferred to East jack, and then East is squeezed. Cool. No mention about the Vienna coup. They just assume that West must have the king of clubs for his overcall. Good try, guys. For spades. Okay, yeah, I remember this one. This was a hand where we just needed to like count out the hand and then try and come up with a layout of the East-West cards in the diamond suit where they could get end played. So after the 4-heart preempt, East wins the ace of hearts and gives his partner a heart ruff. Now it looks as if we have 2 diamond losers, but West switches to clubs. So we win the ace of clubs, and we want to think about, like how can we end up only losing 1 diamond trick? Well, it's going to have to come from the opponents giving us a bit of a rough slough. And maybe East had 8 hearts and 6 diamonds. True, good point. Then West wouldn't be able to switch to diamonds here. But I think the main consideration now is that we, for a fact, know that East has a diamond honor. We don't know if it's the king, queen, or jack, but it's probably one of those. I would suspect it's most likely to be the singleton queen, or potentially doubleton queen. Because West holding the king, queen, jack of diamonds, of course, wouldn't be switching to clubs here. They would just switch to the king of diamonds. So it might be possible to pick off the diamond suit if East has singleton queen, or singleton king, or singleton jack. We could strip the spade suit, ruff the club in our hand, and lead a low diamond. If West hops up with a diamond honor, squashing East's diamond, West will be end played into giving us a rough slough, or leading away from their remaining diamond honor, and the 10 plays a crucial role. If, on the other hand, West plays low, East will win, and then will be end played into leading, presumably hearts, at that point in time. but hearts are clubs, giving us rough slough. Now, we're going to need to count out East's shape, because there is an alternative if East doesn't have a singleton diamond. And it's worth noting that if East turns up with 2 diamonds, we're going to need East to have 2 honors in the suit. Because otherwise, if we were to say play Ace of Diamonds, low diamond out of hand, East would be able to unblock their diamond honor, and West could still take 2 tricks. And similarly, if we just ducked a diamond, East could win and then return the suit. So we're going to need to carefully count how many diamonds East has. King of Spades. West is already ruffed, so this is all of the trumps. But we can now cash the King of Clubs, cross to the Ace of Hearts, and ruff a club. East is turned up with 1 spade, 8 hearts for the preempt. Well, not for the preempt, but we also saw West only had 1 of them. And now 3 clubs, so we know East is down to 1 diamond. Only way we can make it is if that diamond is a singleton honor. So we duck, and they return a heart, giving us a rough slough. I guess actually when West played low on that diamond, I definitely should have put up the 10 in dummy. Just in case West had ducked with King, Queen, Jack. Anyway, not a big deal, but we do correctly count out the hand and find a end position that we can make the contract. 2 no, 7 no. We saw one of these earlier, which was kind of involving counting out the shapes and then figuring out how to play, a side suit where we had a bit of a guess later in the hand. I think that one was like a Jack guess as opposed to a Queen guess. We had like Ace Queen 10-8 opposite King 4th, and they dumped the 9 on the first round, if I remember correctly. But here we're going to be trying to guess the Queen of Clubs, and so our first order of business is going to be to run all of our side suits and try and get a count on the hand. So we'll win the diamond lead, cash some spades. West has 4 spades, which is a little bit interesting to note. East only has 1 card in that suit. East has pitched a couple of hearts. East has pitched 3 hearts. Now we can cash hearts. See what's going on over there. Hearts were 2-5. So both opponents have started with 6 cards in the major suits. And both of them throw a club on this trick, not giving any more information away. If they had pitched diamonds, we would know that one of them shows out on the next 2 diamonds. But when they don't, the whole point of this hand that they want us to think about is that there's a little bit of a restricted choice consideration based on the opening lead that West made. West happened to lead a diamond from either 3 or 4 small diamonds. And if West also had 3 or 4 small clubs, it would have been a little bit of a toss-up which suit they chose to lead. Like, if West was 4 diamonds and 3 clubs, maybe they would have led a club instead of a diamond. It's possible. I mean, it's just kind of a blind guess. But if West was 4 clubs and 3 diamonds with a bunch of small clubs, similarly, it would be a blind guess. Do they lead a club or a diamond in that scenario? The only thing that we can go on is the fact that West didn't lead clubs. They would never have led a club away from the Queen into 7 no trump. So for that reason, we should be playing West for the Queen of Clubs without any extra information on this hand. And that's the entire point of this deal. So we do make 7 no trump. Oh boy, this hand. I remember this one. This was a cool hand. And I'm glad that we actually found the solution somewhat quickly when we first took a look at it. But let's kind of walk through how we got there a little bit in a bit more detail. So Queen of Clubs opening lead, West has preempted 4 spades. No guarantee that this is a singleton, but it's possible that it is. So in terms of tricks, we have 6 hearts, 2 diamonds, and 2 black aces, which is only 10. We need to take 11. There's no extra chances of like roughing a spade in dummy. There's no chances of like roughing the diamond suit good and getting back over there. So this is probably going to have to come from some sort of squeeze. And given the 4 spade preempt, it's actually somewhat likely that we might be able to squeeze East in the minors. They could have 5 clubs and 4 diamonds or something like that. So as long as we would be able to rectify the count for a simple squeeze against East in the minors, that's what we're kind of aiming for. Well, how can we do that? Because we'll play low at trick 1. East is going to play the king of clubs. I think it's very, very risky to duck this trick. And not only that, I believe the opponents will always be able to beat us if we duck this trick. But even if like East can't give his partner club ruff at trick 2. But the end position we're basically going to be aiming for is like our kind of typical simple squeeze, right? We want to come down to a 3-card end position. We have a heart to cash, a diamond in our hand, and a club, and dummy has 2 diamonds and, you know, some random card, a club, I guess. We play the last heart, we discard the club from dummy. East can't hold on to their club winner to guard against our small singleton club, like the deuce or whatever you want to call it, as well as 2 diamonds, because it's going to be a 2-card end position after this trick is over. So East will get squeezed in the minors. So that's kind of like where we're headed. That means somehow we're going to need to lose a club trick, or, well, get rid of a club from our hand. And so you might think that ducking the opening lead would be the way to do that, right? Let's imagine clubs actually are 4-2. I mean, for starters, I'm going to make the argument that I think it's impossible for West to have led a doubleton queen of clubs given the auction. So, I mean, aside from maybe a potential queen-jack doubleton, but then we wouldn't see East playing the king on this trick. But let's suppose clubs even are 4-2. What is a big danger to us not being able to pull off this squeeze? Well, if the opponents can get together in the diamond suit and start stripping dummy's diamond entries, then we won't have the entries to North's hand later to, you know, come to the desired end position, because they'll, like, let's say East wins the king of clubs and clubs are 4-2 and East just switches to diamonds. Well, now what do? We win the ace of diamonds, we can pull trumps, and we can say, you know, play ace of spades and a spade, but now they're just going to play a second round of diamonds, and the squeeze just doesn't work. So that kind of means that, like, even if we were kind of correct in our assessment that the clubs were 4-2 and we can duck a club trick, they're still going to have a way to defeat us on that layout of the cards, assuming that they can play 2 rounds of diamonds when they get in, which maybe they can, maybe they can't. Well, I think this is going to bring up another issue that we're going to have to deal with, which is that anytime the opponents can play 2 rounds of diamonds, we're in huge trouble on this hand, because they're always going to be able to, you know, play 2 rounds of diamonds when they get in with a spade, for example, and maybe if we were like ducking another trick later, they could play a second diamond and cut communications. So I think we're actually going to need West to have a singleton diamond to prevent West from being able to lead a second round of the diamond suit when they get in with the spades. And this can kind of direct us towards a plan to reach the desired end position. So it's going to look like the following. We win the ace of clubs, and we're going to pull trumps. And the good news for us is that West is following to a couple of hearts. West actually follows to 3 rounds of hearts, and this gives us a lot of hope, because West has started with presumably 8 spades for the preempt, now 3 hearts. They've already followed to 1 club, so as long as West has a singleton diamond, we're in good shape. We can now play a diamond to strip West's diamond exit card, and we now throw West in with the second round of spades. West down to just spades in hand has to return the suit, And now we don't make the mistake of roughing this in hand, but remember, we're trying to get down to this 2-card ending where we have 1 diamond and 1 club in our hand, so we discard on this trick. And now it's going to look very familiar. We just run the hearts, pitch a club from dummy. I think East has thrown all of their clubs, and our 2 clubs wins, so East was squeezed in the minors. So the only distribution of East-West cards we can actually make the contract against is 8-3-1-1 shape from West. I think Kurt actually hit upon a second alternative, which is that West has exactly Queen Jack 10 third of diamonds. We could pull trumps and then duck a diamond. Once West turns up with 3 hearts, that layout is impossible. But if West had turned up with like a heart void, for example, then maybe that would be a reasonable alternative to try for. Anyway, kind of a cool hand where like once you can visualize the end position, you have to kind of work out how you can reach it, and that leads you to this concept of taking the sluff and sluff on the 3rd round of spades to rectify the count. So I remember this hand. This is kind of a funny one. We discovered a bug in the software. We get to 3 no trump, and we have 2 spades, 2 hearts, 2 clubs, and we can force out the ace of diamonds for 2 diamond tricks to make the contract. The opening spade lead goes around to our ace, and the real solution is going to be to duck a diamond at trick 2. We just leave the 2 diamonds out of hand, and this allows us to maintain communication in the diamond suit. Because normally, if we were to play the king of diamonds and they duck, we play the queen of diamonds, they win, you might say, oh, this is perfectly fine, we'll next play the jack of diamonds and a 4th diamond. Diamonds are 4-2, we'll use the king of hearts to get back to our hand, and then we can take the 5th diamond for our 9th trick. That seems like a good line of play, but we don't have the entries to do it. So instead, to protect against 4-2 diamonds, we can duck a diamond at trick 2. And now we have kind of 2 entries to our hand, right? It's the king of hearts, but it's also the diamond suit itself. Now if they took the ace of diamonds, diamonds are set up. But we just have 9 tricks that we've established this way. And now it's all just like playing for over tricks. Like technically we should duck a club in case that suit happens to be 3-3 from here, but we'll just end up cashing out and make our contract this way. Kurt discovered an alternative line, which actually really shouldn't have worked against the layout of the cards that was presented, like this layout, but the opponents kind of failed to set up their tricks in the right order as they defended. So a bit of a flaw in the deal there, which is a little scary, because I think a lot of players might have taken the line of play that Kurt went with. His plan was effectively to try and set up a long spade in the dummy after knocking out the diamond ace. And this doesn't really work. The opponents can, set up hearts or clubs or something to score some extra tricks, but it did when the opponents, I guess, forgot to do so. Well, on to 17. So how many of these have we done? This feels oddly reminiscent of the hand that we did yesterday. I think the very last board, right? We have 9 spades between us, and the most obvious route to score a 13th trick is to ruff the 2 diamonds with the 2 of spades. Well, to protect against East having Jack 4th of spades, we should play a spade to the ace first. So let's do that, now that I've seen and am familiar with the concept. Okay. This means we can't ruff the 2 of diamonds in North's hand, but we have a very, very similar double squeeze that we can execute to which hand? Hold on, I'm going searching for this double squeeze. Yeah, very similar to C10 that we did earlier, the 6 no trump. Because West has led the King of Hearts. We know the Queen of Hearts is in West's hand. At least we hope so, right? Which means that as we run the spade suit, West is eventually going to have to void themselves or remove their guard from one of the other suits. I don't know if it's going to be clubs or diamonds, but we'll see when we get there. We're going to have to pick off the end position a little bit, so I might need to think for a second as we're running trumps. I don't believe this is what's known as a compound squeeze, which is a little bit more complicated than a double squeeze, but it always like kind of devolves into a double squeeze eventually. Let me run some trumps and see what I think is going on. But our basic idea is that if East has long clubs and West has the Queen of Hearts, we can effectively double squeeze the opponents, and our 2 of diamonds is going to take the last trick. I think that's what we're going for. But I just want to be careful as the opponents start discarding all of their diamonds. This is a lot of diamond discards. Okay, I think we should play the King, Queen of Clubs now. If one of the opponents shows out in clubs, that's going to give us a little more information. Because I'm a bit afraid that West is actually holding on to long clubs, and we might need to like cash the Ace of Diamonds to squeeze them in clubs and hearts. Man. So this would basically be similar to yesterday when we were solving that hand. I think it was A36 was the one, where I was originally like planning to play the hand like a double squeeze, but then the discards from the opponents made me think otherwise. Well, let's play the 6 of spades. West throws the 10 of hearts. Yeah. Let me think for a second. West discarded a lot of diamonds. West hasn't pitched any clubs. So I guess we can pitch the 3 of diamonds, right? And then lead the Ace of Diamonds. If the 2 of diamonds comes home. I'm just trying to wrap my head around like what cards everyone has left and whether this plan is safe. I think it is. Okay, so it kind of devolved into the same exact hand that happened yesterday, which is that once West discarded all of their diamonds, we no longer play the hand as a double squeeze. We just squeeze West in hearts and clubs. You know what? I'm curious what they say, because this feels a lot more like card reading than a puzzle hand. Maybe there is something that they want to mention or something that I've overlooked. Most of the time, South can rough the 2 of diamonds. Yeah. South leads a spade to the ace. 2 spades can't be roughed. Draw trumps. If clubs are 3-3, dummy's 4th club is good. If East has 4 or more clubs. What? How do we feel about this comment? Wait, maybe this is true. Okay, maybe this is actually true. Okay. I'm now beginning to think that this might actually be true. I just didn't plan my entries well enough. Because if I run spades and East has this hand, West can just discard clubs, right? And on the last spade, I'm gonna have to make an unfortunate discard from North's hand. Okay. Should be in all caps. Good call, good call. Yeah. Okay, I'm on board. I was incorrect about the double squeeze plan. West could just pitch all of their clubs here, and then I wouldn't be able to squeeze them before I have to make a decision from dummy. We would have needed to have the long clubs in our own hand. This is why like kind of thinking through end positions is useful. I wasn't doing it on this deal. I was more focused on like what distributions the opponents had. Again, a useful skill. If West has 4 more clubs along with the Queen of Hearts, he can be squeezed on the run of spades, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool, we did it. Way to go, us. 18. I feel like I'm getting into the hands that Kurt and I didn't do. I don't remember doing that 7 spade hand. I do remember the 3 no trump on c16. I'll keep going for a little bit. I'm still not quite hungry yet, but we're getting there. And I do feel a little bit burnt out on some of these. But let's see, we get to 3 no trump. East is open to diamond. We made a takeout double. Both opponents were silent throughout, and we get to 3-0. Jack of spades opening lead. So we have 2 spades, 2 hearts, 2 diamonds is only 6 tricks. I mean, I better win the ace of spades lead, otherwise they might switch to hearts. Or win the spade lead with an honor, because they'll switch to hearts. So I think that's step 1. I'm a little confused about this one, so like, we could pick up clubs for 3 tricks if East has ace-king third. We can pick up ace-king doubleton if we use the ace of diamonds entry to lead a low club towards the queen. I mean, that seems reasonable to me, but I'm trying to imagine how many tricks I lose if I do that. So I win the spade, I lead a diamond to the ace, I lead a club, East wins the king, plays back a diamond, I win. I knock out the club, East cashes like 1,000,000 diamonds. That's not even enough tricks, is it? I'm still gonna end up losing 3 clubs. I'm only going to score 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, and both major suit ace kings. I think I just need 3 clubs with the ace king and East's hand. Thinking for a second about what alternatives we have. So our plan basically is to like win the ace of spades and then lead a club to the jack. And then we'll like probably duck the next round of spades, win the 3rd round, overtake the queen of diamonds with the ace and lead a club up. I don't really see anything better. So I guess let's try it. Like, technically it doesn't hurt to win this trick. I guess I'll just duck, though. I don't think it matters much. Oh, that's why it hurts to duck this trick. That's very clever. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, oh, this is irrelevant. I mean, I should probably win the king. Okay, let's just undo. I'm feeling a little bit lazy. So yeah, very dangerous to duck if spades are 5-2 and East can discard that ace of clubs. Then West will be able to get in and cash the spades later. And the reasoning that we can afford to play high here is that if spades are 4-3, we only have 2 more spade losers along with the club. And if spades are 5-2, East doesn't have another spade to lead. So now we can cross to dummy and lead a club up. And as long as the suit breaks, which it does, we are good to go. Cute hand. I like that jettison play. I mean, I've pulled off some similar jettison plays before on defense, so it's not that uncommon, I would say, to discard, you know, high cards like this. It almost becomes telegraphed a little bit sometimes when, you know, it's very clear that your partner has a suit and you want to make sure that they're the one who wins the trick somewhere. You can frequently do this if, you know, even if you're not confident it's not going to just blow a trick, you might do this just in the hopes that partner can get in. 19. We're in 4 hearts. East preempts 2 spades. Okay. We get 7 of spades lead to the ace. And the queen of spades comes back. So, we know West is roughing this trick. I mean, it's somewhat tempting to duck, but let me think about this for a second. So this would be another one of these like unusual rectify the count situations where if we play the king of spades and West roughs and West returns like a diamond or whatever, we're never going to be able to access the clubs in dummy. So even if clubs split 3-3, we can't go ace of clubs, club to the king, club rough because our ace of diamonds gets knocked out. And we're going to have 9 tricks, 2 clubs, a heart, or 2 clubs, a diamond, and 6 hearts. So we're kind of in prime territory for a squeeze to operate, but we will not have rectified the count because when a diamond comes back, we have to win the ace, otherwise East cashes a spade. We can pull trumps, but now if we duck a diamond, West can win, play a 3rd diamond, kind of stripping our threat in the diamond suit. And if we duck a spade, East will be able to win and, you know, play back a diamond, cashing 2 tricks. So there's no real way to rectify the count if we put up the king of spades on this trick. So I think it's probably correct to play low. The squeeze is not very likely to work. We're going to need West to have all of the king, queen, jack of diamonds as well as 4 clubs, but it's possible and feels like our best chance. So we discard. They do play a 3rd spade, giving their partner a ruff. King of diamonds comes back, which is good news. So we win the ace, and now it's just going to be all about watching for that queen, jack of diamonds as we run the heart suit, which looks like it's not really possible, right? West started with 4 hearts I guess they could be 4-4-4-1. It's possible. So hopefully the clubs run. Fingers crossed. Hooray. No, no hooray. What? I'm sorry. Hello? Oh, I liked my plan. I see an alternative plan that works against this layout. Do I? Hold on, let me think for a second. Yeah, I do see an alternative plan that works against this layout. I don't think their plan is correct, though. Again, I think they came up with the wrong solution. Let's show their solution, but then I want to look at their thought process, right? So they want us to play the king of spades and now duck the king of diamonds when it comes back. The issue that I see with this plan is, what if West leads a low diamond right now instead of the king? What are we supposed to do? Do we stick in the 10? Then East wins an honor and cashes a spade and we're immediately down. I guess I suppose because my line of play needed West to have the king, queen, jack of diamonds, it was always safe for me to do this. Well then, what if West switches to clubs, huh? West plays a club to our ace. We pull trumps, but now we can't duck a diamond because the squeeze doesn't work. West just continues clubs. Breaking up our entries. I guess we could then rough a club and it comes out the same. Okay, I concede. I didn't really think about this, but as long as West has all the king, queen, jack of diamonds, which my plan needed as well, it does look like it is safe to take this line of play. Or, sorry, it's going to work every time that I was going to succeed. If West gets squeezed in the minors, we would also be able to do it this way. So this is how we rectify the count. The king of diamonds gets returned, and now we can win the second round. But what happens here is that because East also has a club guard, this is just going to be a very straightforward double squeeze. So the position we're going to reach is we have 4 cards left in our hand, a heart, a spade, and 2 clubs. Dummy's going to have 3 clubs and the 10 of diamonds. We lead our last heart. West, who theoretically has the jack of diamonds remaining, can't discard that, otherwise the 10 of diamonds will be good. So they pitch down to a doubleton club. We discard our club, and then East, who can't afford to let our 3 of spades be a winner, also has to come down to a doubleton club. So the squeeze is relatively straightforward to execute. We just run our hearts, but we want to, make sure we count the spades as East starts discarding them. So that's 1 spade discard. East has 3 spades left, 2 spades left, 1 spade left. And now here we are. We've reached the desired 4-card end position. So we play a heart, pitch the 10 of diamonds. East still has a spade. So hopefully our 6 of clubs is now a winner. Yeah, this turned into a double squeeze when East had clubs guarded as well. I don't know. I don't feel so bad about the line of play I took. I mean, we came up with a sensible way to make our contract. If West had 4 clubs and 5 diamonds, as we had hoped, then we would have made it with our plan as well. I mean, both lines of play need West to have all of the king, queen, jack of diamonds, which is rare, but not unheard of. C20. I might call it after this one. I have been here for 4.5 hours or so. I'll check and see if anyone else is on. I know Bridge Overlord has been doing a bunch of streaming recently, so maybe I will throw you all over to his channel. 1 spade, 3 spades, 4 spades. Club lead. I mean, we have 2 trump losers and a heart loser. The danger here is that an opponent could potentially get a club ruff, I guess. There was no bidding, right? Yeah, so how do we prevent this? I mean, the opening club lead obviously could be a singleton. I mean, it could also be a doubleton, and someone could have like ace third or king third of spades. When the other player gets in with the singleton honor, they play back a second club, and then other player gets in with their thirds with another spade. Well, I guess there's no quick entry to the other player's hand. So yeah, the only real concern is what do we do about 4-1 clubs? As long as we're playing trumps at trick 2, we should be in good shape. I say that, and now I'm considering a line of play where I don't play trumps at trick 2. So, if someone does get a club ruff, we're still okay if I've stripped the hand and they have to lead a heart away from the king, right? Like, if the opponents never play hearts for us, we're always going to lose a heart trick along with our 2 natural trump losers. But I think we actually have a decent shot if we pull 3 rounds of diamonds immediately before exiting a trump. Like, let's imagine West has the singleton club, right? Which, I mean, it looks like could be what's going on. If we go ace, king of diamonds, diamond ruff, and then lead a spade, East might be able to get in with a singleton spade honor, lead a club for West to ruff, who could then cash the other high spade, but now that we've stripped the diamonds, West can't lead clubs, they're out, and can't lead trumps, they're out, and if they lead diamonds, we get a ruffs left, so they're going to have to lead a heart. This would give us a small extra chance if West has, you know, honor third of spades and the king of hearts. That looks like a reasonable secondary attempt. And the downside, I guess, is like, well, maybe the ace or king of diamonds gets ruffed. I think that's unlikely when the opponents are silent on this type of auction. But I suppose a bigger downside might be if West is like 3-6-2-2 in shape, where without the king of hearts, but with honor third of spades, where now we go ace of diamonds, diamond to the king, diamond ruff, and West discards their second club. Now East gets in with the first round of spades, gives partner club ruff, who then cashes the other spade, and then puts a heart through, but they weren't actually end played. So we will go down on that exact layout. But I guess this is probably a little bit superior, where we pick up a bunch of other layouts of the hand. Okay, I like the plan. So let's win the king of clubs and strip the diamonds. And obviously if diamonds are 5-3 or 4-4, we're just in great shape, yeah. Now we can continue our plan, exit the queen of spades. They play back a club. West does get to cash the king of spades, but now is end played into leading hearts. Hopefully away from the king? Yeah, we did it. And I've once again failed to beer. That's okay. So again, I mean, a lot of these puzzles are just, can you come up with that slight extra chance against some adverse distribution? And here we came to the right idea, and it worked out.